Hello. In the previous example, we already look at how to obtain data from a MQTT broker using an MQTT node in the Node-RED. And in this example, I'm going to show you how to add a little bit of processing um, to the flow in order to process the data that we received. All right. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to add a JSON node to, because the data that we receive from the MQTT broker is a JSON string. So I'm going to add a JSON node to the flow to basically add a bit of basically to convert the JSON strings to a JavaScript object, so it would be make it easier to process, right? And then and we already look at this node before, but this node basically what it does is it actually convert the JSON string to a JavaScript object. Nothing special about this, right? And the next thing we're going to do is to actually add a function node to the flow. And the purpose of this function node is to simply count the number of messages that we have received from the broker, right? The MQTT broker. So I double clicked on the function node, and it initially all it does is actually simply return the message received, which is basically it's just like a pass through node, doesn't do anything. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the code that I recreated here just to make save of time. So in this code, what I'm doing is firstly I'll try to get the count, which is I have a variable called count to count the number of messages that I have received from the broker, right? Since starting of flow, right? And I do it by using the flow objects, which is you already know from the content, is a special objects designed to share data between nodes in the flow, right? So I'm basically firstly I would try to get this number from the flow objects, and the property that I use to in this get is message count. And if it doesn't exist, if it is the first time, obviously message count doesn't exist in the flow, and it will start to it will return the zero value at in this case, right? And then the next thing I'll do is I increase the count by 1, means to start counting, and then I set the count back to the flow object, right? So this next time when I retrieve it, and I will get the actual count, right? And then I also update the message properties, yeah, with the message count. So like I just simply pass the message count with the message. I don't have to do it. If I don't use it, but just for the sake of demonstrations, I just add it to the message, so you know how to pass an additional property, like together with the message to the next node, right? So we can update the message with the message set message properties, and you have the message as an object, and then you have the property message count with the count, and it's a default value if like if not successful, and I put -1 to show that if it's not, if there's any problems, then I know that it is a problem. And then I output the count, the actual count, to the console. Basically, it's just a debug things, yeah, just to make it easier for me to check if the code actually is working. And but in the production, obviously, you don't really need this line, right? And simply return the message. So that's what I have in the function code, right? And then I also with the debug nodes simply bring the payload to the console, right? So now if I start to deploy the node and it's running and it's connected to the MQTT broker, now what I will try to inject some message to it and see if it's actually work, right? So in this case I'm using MQTT X client, yeah, to inject a message to the Wakui weathers. Yeah, and the message gets temperatures 19, humidity 75. I hit it here and it's sent out, and you can see that we have an update here, right? And we say that the function is receive message number 4. The reason is number 4 here because it's, like I already have this flow before and it's actually updated, and this is my third message. But if you run it for the first time, you will see this message number 1. Yeah, and then it's actually show you the actual content of the message, right? So if I inject it again, another one, and then you can see the count increase, right? So you can see the node function, it received message number 5, and actually the payload is actually updated like this, right? So that's basically what the thing does. What actually you can see what actually in the message, and yeah, so that's basically everything I got to show you in this little video.